like that, so I'll just mention it now.
Roger, we're seeing pretty consistently there the concrete exposed in the upper tidal zone there. It's having some pretty heavy loss.
There is a butt end here of the cribbing that's it's got some wood loss here.
Okay, roger that, but it's still pretty sound material. There's no movement or play in it.
It is sound material. I can't. Nothing loose on it.
Okay, roger. And the timber cribbing there beside the horizontal stuff is looking good.
The horizontals all look good. The hardware looks in place and secure.
Okay, roger.
And the rest of the butt ends look even more solid.
Roger.
It's coming out of the next ladder.
And if you can see the separation or the difference between the cribs there and a crib joint, just we'll have a good look there and make sure it's not tapering away or bending away from it.
Roger that. There, I think there's there's an area of splitting here, but you can see the steel of the pin. I'd say that's what caused the splitting.
Okay, but the material around it appears good. You just pan to the left there. Okay, yeah, I can see the steel. Oh, so the pin just split off the side of the transverse crib timber there.
That's correct, and I believe that's the case with the other side. It seemed very uniform on each side.
Okay, roger that.
But there is an area of horizontal right by the ladder here.
And is that by a fastener as well?
It's a larger area. I'm not sure if it's around the fastener, but there is a little bit of rot here.
Okay, and you're just at the timber right by the ladder? So just 1 second.
Roger that.
Okay, Roger, you're around the 125-foot mark here on the north side of the Tiverton Wharf, and we just noticed one of the horizontal timbers behind the ladder here is pretty heavy deterioration, splitting. But above and below it looks to be in good condition.
Above and below are in good condition.
And can you give me an elevation?
About 4 feet off at the bottom.
4 feet off the seabed. Okay, roger that.
And that splitting end, it ends by this timber up the ladder. So it's about 4 feet wide of an 8-foot timber, I believe.
Okay, roger that.
Small bit of splitting here, a little bit lost, but it's just the outer layer, I believe.
Okay, roger that.
And about a 2-foot section.
Yeah, we just want to make sure there's no large areas, missing timbers, obvious signs of heavy contact damage or deterioration in one area.
You can see another good example of where the pins have it split just a little bit.
Split on the butt end there.
That's the butt end, but only where the pins are.
Roger.
Oh, here's an area. So here's a more substantial area. You can see one of the pins by itself here.
Okay, roger that, and it appears the pins maybe caused the separation in the timber, actually creating the void.
I think so. It probably separated and then rotted away. There is a rope going all the way inside. It must be just tangled in there because I can't pull it out anymore, but...
Roger.
Would you like me to get the camera in there? You might be able to see some ballast.
No, I'm not picking up much in there.
Roger that. I've got no light either, so that might be it, but...
Roger.
I'll keep working my way along.
So for the most part, again, consistently we're seeing on the first 100 feet, 150 feet of this north face is the timber cribbing is actually in pretty good condition overall.
That is correct, yeah.
Just a few areas where the actual fastening points have split it open a bit.
There's an area here where it appears like a little bit of a gap, but I think this piece of cribbing is just a little bit off. There's no damage to it.
Yeah, it looks like good material there as well.
It's just hard up on one side. I think maybe it's just a couple inches off.
Okay, roger.
But there is some rotting and splintering here.
Right when you get up in the tidal zone there?
It is about, it's about 2 feet below the water now, so I'd say the tidal zone, but it is only about a 2-foot wide section too, only really towards the butt end again.
Okay, roger. So there's just an area there of like what happened, a small, like quarter of a timber has some surface deterioration there.
That's correct. I think this might be a horizontal view of what's been happening with the pins that we've been seeing.
Okay, roger. So the pin blew the side of it out a bit?
I think so.
Okay, roger. And again, that's fairly minor, but we want to make a note if it seems like it starts increasing as we make our way out the dock here. But for the most part, it looks like the timber facing is a pretty sound material.
It is rather tight. It's actually tighter than I thought. I thought I'd be able to see the ballast stone, but
No, but we'll just make a note of that. We'll see if we can locate it. We'll try to get a good look. And again, it might be like that across it. You might not be able to see the crib joint.
good view of some hardware there in good condition.
Roger. And you're at about 160-foot mark on the north face of the dock here.
Roger that. There's a more substantial area here. The right of the water line, one of the horizontal timbers here, cracked the full length of the timber here.
Okay, Roger, and that's right again, the upper tidal zone there.
That's in the upper tidal zone, right of the water line.
Just pan up a bit. Is this the section before the, okay. So right in the tidal zone there, and that's again around 165.
That's probably the outer third of the timber. You can see the inner core is actually breaking apart too now.
Okay, Roger, how far from the surface of the deck is that? If you can look up and see.
It's the second down after the concrete.
Okay, so 8 or 10 feet down.
I'd say so, yeah.
Roger. Okay, Roger, continue on. So that's so far, really, that's only 2 timbers so far throughout this the first 165 feet of the northern face here that have had any major splitting or deterioration. Everything else seems pretty tight and sound so far.
That seems correct.
But transverse butt ends look pretty good there. We've seen a few that have some splitting through the fastening point.
Again, there's just some little minor splitting, but
not really soft material. Still, everything's in place. And again, those timbers that you're seeing that have the damage up in the upper tidal zone there, it's running pretty consistent with the heavy concrete loss and consistent spalling we're seeing right along there.
it is. Those look like two layers of 2x4. I thought maybe they were shims or part of formwork.
Roger.
And so far, no undermining to speak of.
Roger. And as we make our way out, we'll make sure we have a really good look because we're going to be more and more affected by the tide and the current out here.
Roger that.
And is there separation there, or is it just offset a little bit?
It's you can actually see what looks like a stone. I think this is actually cribbing.
Okay, Roger.
Coming to another ladder here. The very bottom rung is only just in, but...
Okay, Roger, and you're about the 200-foot mark across the deck here.
Roger, you can see some missing wood off the ladder frame, but nothing structural on the actual cribbing.
Roger.
And realistically, all the rungs still feel secure.
Yeah, Roger. More so worry about the structural components for now, Logan.
Roger that.
And I guess we can say as you look across there now that I see another area, the first, or in between the first and second row of the longitudinal timber cribbing, you're noticing just below the concrete there that there is some pretty heavy deterioration. Could be from contact as well as the flow of the water there.
Roger that. We're coming to another, or probably the most substantial area here. So you can see the mid pins that would be in the midway here.
Roger, and actually, like I said, pushed off and split it off the outer edge of that timber altogether. And that's about the 200-foot mark across the northern face here.
And the timber below it here has done the same thing. I can move this back and forth.
Okay, Roger, so an area about 2 timbers high there.
That's correct. And that's the second and third horizontal timber below the concrete.
Okay, Roger that.
Across here. And in fact, that's 2 timbers wide on the uppermost one.
Okay, Roger that.
And it's about 2/3 of it. The one that goes behind the ladder stops at the ladder.
Roger, okay. So the top 2 timbers there beneath the concrete surface in the tidal zone are in very poor condition, and it runs two timber lengths towards the outside. So around between 200 and 220 foot area there on the dock.
That's correct.
Slack?
Yes, please. I must have caught.
Oh, just stand by. He's just getting your umbilical sorted out there.
Yep, sure thing.
Is that a crib joint there?
It is crib joint.
Okay, so I just want you to pay special attention to make sure that the gap appears constant throughout. It doesn't appear that the top's separating further away than the bottom. Did you get your slack there?
I think so. Yeah, I got fine.
Roger.
All right, so
this is the first area we actually noticed an exposed crib joint here.
there does appear to be just a little bit of bowing in it, but I can't tell if it's actually bowed or if it's just material loss on the butt ends.
Okay, roger that. And you're at around the 240 foot mark there.
Because some of the ends here, like this one here and this one here, are beginning to rot away.
So pretty heavy deterioration in the butt ends of the horizontal timbers there?
That's correct.
Yeah, I can see that. And what about the other side?
This side appears much more sound.
Okay, can you look in through and see if there's any exposed ballast or anything coming through?
I can see a couple chunks.
Okay, roger. Are they timbers that are just staggered across there?
That's correct. Those are timbers.
Okay, roger that. So it appears that the ballast is contained inside the two cribs. There's no signs of any piling or anything in between there.
That's correct. It's all contained in between. There's one or two stray pieces that seem to have...
Okay, so just that the western crib there, the butt ends are pretty heavily deteriorated throughout there.
That is correct. Both layers, it's too thick.
Okay, roger.
And both are like that.
Okay, so that's the two outside layers there on the western crib face in the crib joint at about 240 feet along the north face going from west to east.
You can see right here, the longitudinal ones appear to be a little more proud than these ends, so I'm expecting that's where they used to be before they started rotting.
Okay, roger that. And again, you're not noticing any big difference from the separation on the bottom of the tire?
No, maybe an inch or...
Okay, roger. So nothing major. There's no major shifting that we can see there at that joint?
No.
Okay, fine. You can continue on.
And that's the last area where it's actually visible. From there on, it's same as before, nice tight cribs.
Roger.
Now this fender pile here is loose at the bottom.
Okay, roger. Just the fender pile, not the actual cribbing?
Just the fender pile.
Okay, roger.
It's a little bit of play in it.
So again, nice solid face there coming down across the timber cribbing?
Everything's nice and solid, no sign of any damage. There's a tiny bit of undermining here.
Just see a small opening there. Is that beneath the bottom timber?
It is beneath the bottom timber.
Okay, is that ballast stone I'm seeing there?
This seems like it could be ballast stone. It looks like there's the deepest area. There's ballast stone there.
Can you see that that's the bottom of the crib for sure?
It certainly appears to be.
Okay, roger. So just give me an overall length, maximum depth and height there.
I'm just going to backtrack to the very beginning. Here's right here. I'll just do a quick measurement. It's about 15 feet wide. Maximum height is only a foot.
Okay, roger. But the ballast stone is inside. It is present. There's no large void underneath. Like, how deep is it?
The depth of the max is maybe 2 feet to the ballast stone.
Okay, roger that. So it possibly might not be undermining, might just be the bottom of the cribbing there.
That could be it, true. It is two timbers thick, so that 2 feet is basically 2 timbers where the ballast stone should be.
Okay, roger that. Okay, I got a note of it. You're around the 255-foot mark across the north face there. It's about a 15-foot wide area, 12 inches high, and maybe 2 feet deep. It's possibly the bottom of the crib there, but the ballast stone is present inside.
Roger that. Another area here about 10 feet after. Could be the bottom of the crib, but I would say that was the bottom piece. There, you can see some timber in there.
Yeah, it's pretty solid there. That's the bottom there. So is that a big... Yeah, that's a little bit undermining there. Just give me an overall of that.
It's 1.5 feet high. Goes a decent distance. It gets deeper in here too.
Okay, yeah. So make sure you give me a maximum depth there too.
Okay, I was just to the end of it.
Yeah, give me a length first and a maximum height and depth.
Okay, you can see where I'm missing that the timber here is sitting on bottom.
Yeah, no, that's good there. So it's definitely a large area there.
And then it should butt up to this here.
And that's probably the next crib there.
I think so, probably. Yeah, you're right. So that's about a 15 foot in length. Maximum depth to the back of that, you're looking at 4.5 or 5 feet. So it does look like there's some bigger ballast missing.
Okay, Roger. So it's definitely a void in there. And how high would that be at the maximum again?
About 2 feet high.
Okay, so what we're looking at here is that section of cribbing, especially because you came up to the next crib joint there, anywhere between the 255-foot and 280-foot mark, we're noticing a 30-foot section there that ranges from 12 feet in height and 2 feet deep to 5 feet in depth at some point.
That's correct.
And just stay right there. I'm just going to get a specific location of where that next crib starts.
Certainly.
Okay, so you're at a 290-foot mark there across the north face, and again, so like I say, between 255 and 280, 285 there, we got an area of undermining, and we got some good video and measurements there. So we'll just keep a note, make sure we have a good look on the next crib there, see if there's any more that forms.
Roger that. Just gonna do that.
Yeah, don't backtrack that 15, 20 feet there, make sure we don't miss anything on the crib phasing.
Roger that. The loose board here that I think is part of the fender. It's just a 2x6 or something.
Roger. So for the most part, on the bottom of the ladders and some of the facing timbers there, the fenders, we're noticing there's some deterioration in the very bottom of them.
That's correct.
And I don't know if we noticed for sure if there's fasteners in the bottom, but they might have some play down there if not. And again, what we've seen pretty consistently across the north face here now is in the upper tidal zone where the concrete meets the top horizontal timbers there, we're noticing deterioration in the top 2 or 3 timbers, as well as some heavy spalling and concrete loss in the concrete.
Speaking of which, the top timber and the third timber here have some fairly substantial damage.
Roger. So I'm calling that pretty consistent throughout because we're noticing that more common than not.
All right, then. We'll consistent be sort of... All right. Work my way back down. So that 2x6 I saw before is the outer layer of one of these fender piles.
Okay, roger that. So yeah, it's just the facing timber there for docking again.
Yeah.
Roger.
And then that's the one that likely was ripped off of. There's just some contact damage there. Work my way back down again. I'm thinking maybe this is the area here. This is the crib separation, actually.
that's another crib joint there.
I think we might have been wrong. Let me find out which one this is. Make sure it's not one I already looked at here. Yeah, I think what we called the second one might not have been.
What do you mean? You're just saying where that undermining is more so missing timbers than the crib joint?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, Roger.
This looks more like the crib joint, I think.
Okay, we'll just make sure we don't miss any areas.
Yep.
So again, look for the separation between the two. If you notice it's wider at the top than at the bottom. Again, the butt ends appear pretty consistently deteriorated there as well.
They do, but on, what is it, the east side this time, they seem more deteriorated than the west side. Up there a little higher.
Yeah, so that crib joint there is about the 320 foot mark across the north face here.
Roger that. Up a little higher there, about 260. So the joint is a little bit wider at the top.
Okay, can you give me a measurement from at the very bottom to the very top?
Yep, I'm just gonna whip out my meter stick thing here.
Roger.
That's almost exactly 8 inches at the bottom. You can see some ballast stone in here.
Okay, Roger, that's some ballast in between the two cribs. You can see the transverse timbers running across there as well.
So there would be 8 inches. It's definitely wider. You're looking at, it's a full 12 at the top.
Okay, Roger. So how far is that from the seabed where you're at there?
Very.
Or are you right up by the water line?
Probably closer to the water line.
Okay, Roger. And then that's when it's covered by the horizontal timber face again there?
That's correct. I'm basically right mid-water, so it's 15 feet off bottom anyway.
15 feet off the seabed?
Yep, I can drop down and get a closer look, but...
Well, no, you got the bottom and you got the top exposed there, so we're not going to be able to see any higher than that. So we do know that in that 15-foot area, it does open up about 4 inches.
Roger that.
And again, that's a crib joint at 320 foot mark across the north face moving west-east.
So the bottom's turning back to sand down here.
Okay, Roger. So yeah, just keep a good eye out for any more undermining down there as well. So aside from those first 1, 2, 3 horizontal longitudinal timbers there below the concrete at the top in the upper tidal zone there, the concrete facing timbers look to be in pretty good condition overall, the crib timbers.
I would say that's correct. There was very little other damage.
Roger that. And we notice you have some deterioration in the butt ends inside the crib joints, but the butt ends exposed as you make your way along the face here do appear to be in pretty good condition.
There are some small areas of rust like this here.
Just some splintering more so coming off the face.
Yes, it's about 8 feet off bottom where I'm at right now. About 2 feet wide, not nearly as deep as the other damage.
Okay, Roger that. That's good. So just some moderate splintering there on the face, no major voids or anything loose.
That's correct.
Okay.
Again, another butt end where a pin is knocked out the corner.
Okay, Roger that. Just halved it off.
Entire missing piece of timber here at the very top.
So again, what we're seeing here, as you make your way out further along the dock here, you're around the probably 360 foot mark there, and there's some heavy concrete loss, again, consistent with the poor timbers at the very top of the facing there.
That's correct.
Roger.
Just a little bit of wave action. That boat looks like he knows I'm here. Gonna work my wind under in case he doesn't. See a broken fender there. Coming over those galvanized ladders here. Is the ferry coming in, or is that ship coming in?
Okay, and you're at the 370 foot mark there.
No, is the ferry, I've just got 4 poles. Was that boat coming in, or is the ferry coming in?
He's directly above you there tending you. I think he was trying to give me signals on the distance across the dock, and he might have pulled your umbilical.
Oh, okay.
He was trying to signal to me, but I just got him to yell across. Anyway, it's 370 foot mark.
Roger that. I'm not out of umbilical or anything, am I?
It does not appear to be, no.
Okay.
Yeah, you got about, I'd say maybe 20 feet, 30 feet left.
Alright. More umbilical then, please, if I can.
You coming pretty tight there, are you?
Oh, I'm hanging off it right now. You may just have to work it to where I'm at. There we go.
Yeah, I think you're at the end of your umbilical there. I'm just going to get an accurate measurement so we know where to continue the survey, Logan.
It's right at this galvanized ladder I'm on.
Okay, you're at the 375 foot mark there, and I'm going to take you off the cord, and we're going to move the van so we can relocate and finish the rest of the dock there.
Do you want me to just hang out here at the ladder?
Okay, Logan, continuing our structural survey here of the ferry ramp, or the ferry wharf here in Tiverton. You're just coming across the north face. We're continuing on at the 375 foot mark. Just make our way out to the end. The end's about 475 feet on the north here, and just make your way along there.
Roger that, there's no way. I said this is part of one of the broken timbers we saw. Just falling off, sitting here on bottom. This area beneath looks like worth undermining, because this isn't the actual bottom.
Okay, Roger.
There's the cribbing where it should be. Sorry, the cable's in the way. There's the cribbing.
Okay, so the cribbing is in place. There's no undermining present there?
That's correct.
Okay, Roger. And again, yeah, consistently throughout this north face, we've seen that the timber cribbings, the longitudinal horizontal bracings, appear to be nice and tight, nice and strong. There's a few butt ends that have some deterioration, but overall, pretty consistent.